Good everybody, what's up? It is Robett, and today's question is, how do you measure social media growth? Now, growth is the interesting word here. So if you're a B2B environment, growth would be obviously commercial. If it was a personal brand, public image thing, is it likes or shares? Is it engagement and reach? So I think when you think about your either personal brand on social media or your business brand on social media, figure out how you define the success of growth. Is it growth of connections? Is it growth of meaningful? So if you go down that route, cool, I've got 30,000 connections. All right, cool. Well, do you have deep engagement with that? Sometimes it's better to have deep engagement with 30 than weak engagement with 300,000. So you need to just identify how you deem the win of growth first. That would be the most important thing. Secondly, then you just put KPIs against that. So say for me, if I'm on this, so last year, I reached 1.7 million people using a smartphone without spending a cent using social channels. That's great. That's reach. Now my thing is, okay, now how could I add value to 1 million people? Not reach, add value. Then we're talking about not reach, we're talking about, likes, shares, comments, sign-ups, attendees. There's other different KPIs that can sort of pull around it or against it. So at least I get a number, which then drives to if that's how I deem my success of trying to add value to 1 million people. But if you're a business, what if your growth is literally, cool, I added value to 1 million people, but I actually needed to close 100 of them, and that 100 needs to be worth $10 million, whatever the number is. Then you've got different metrics. So each person's success is different, and each person's KPIs on growth will be different, because sometimes if it's brand building without selling, it can just be about reach and engagement and shares and likes and views. But if it's on a B2B environment or B2C environment, if it's a product or service which you need to sell to make sure you can justify the energy and effort that's gone against that thing, that's when you'd probably have different sort of metrics that you do against. Because at the end of the day, if you're in the commercial environment, sooner or later you're going to try to sell some shit, which I totally understand. Just define, is it brand awareness growth? Is it sales growth? Is it connection growth? Is it depth of connection growth? Is it depth of engagement growth? Is it consistent repetition of certain community growth? Define growth first, which helps to craft around what success will be, and then work your way back from that with some clear KPIs which makes sense for you and your brain. That's my 2 cents on it. If you've got a question you'd like to ask me, feel free to hit the link and go for gold, and I'll be more than happy to add value if I can. Talk to you soon, team. Peace.